Thank you everybody for being here for this info session about the Taiwan and Hong Kong program. Let's maybe do some introductions of everybody. We can start with our two faculty leaders, and then we'll have each of the students just introduce yourself real quickly. And then we're just going to sort of go through a quick little presentation about what the program is about, cost and application process, and then just have time for any questions that you might have. So my name is Scott Ozorowski. I work in the Study Abroad office, and I'm the Study Abroad contact for this program. As you're going through the application process, or if you have any logistical questions, you can feel free to reach out to me. So Lee and John, why don't you introduce yourselves?
Hello, I'm Professor Li Jing, associate professor in the Department of Modern Languages. I also direct the Chinese Studies program, also directed the other Global Asian Studies program.
I'm John Shanahan. I am a faculty member in the English department. I'm interested in science fiction and contemporary literature and things like that, and I'm a fan of Chinese science fiction, and that'll be one part of our program. So anyway, we can get into that when we get to the details.
All right, well, let's go ahead, Lee and John, if you want to kind of go through the slides, and then we'll take questions as well along the way.
Sure. All right.
Okay.
So
well, the program you'll see has a kind of subtitle, Imagining the Future with China. And that's really important to us. And, you know, as you can guess, if you're reading any headlines, especially in the last year or so, there's probably no more important, you know, region right now in global international relations and things than China and Taiwan, and, you know, the differences going on with what could be a new Cold War with the US and things. So it's a time to really think through rising Chinese power as seen from places we'll go. So
right.
Let's go to the next slide. So this is us, and we can say something about each of our courses real quick.
And so we just wanted, you know, if we've been to your classes, please bear with us. You know, you want to hear more details from us today. We have way more time than 10 minutes visit to your classes. For this program, I want to mention the structure of this program is you take a class with the professor before the trip, you learn the content and also get prepared and learn more about how to handle the interaction with people when you arrive to a location. And then you go travel with us for about 2 weeks. When you come back, you take a course with another faculty member, and also do a kind of a wrap up with your trip there, do some reflection of you have learned on the trip. So for the pre-departure course, in autumn quarter, I will teach CHN 209E and AS 209 Chinese youth cultures. And this course, we will talk about the youth cultures, you know, diverse youth cultures, both in mainland China, Taiwan, and Hong Kong, because in all three regions and cities, actually, so Hong Kong is a city, and Mandarin Chinese is the widely spoken language, and also in different regions, actually, there are different dialects. Even in Taiwan, there's even more dialects over there. And there's also right now very popular kind of a surging like a youth movement over there, you know, highlighting the indigenous cultures over there, the indigenous population over there. It's very interesting, great dynamics there as well. We will talk all about things about a younger generation, like what you care about, right? It's you as a younger generation here in the US, and then we wanted to know about what the Chinese speaking younger generation are think about their future, what they think about the current situation, what they think about the future. And because the youth, you know, the future from the perspective of youth is very important, you know, in terms of shaping the future trajectory of the country's development. So we want to talk about this in our class. So in the past, my class mostly focused on, you know, the youth cultures in mainland China. And since we're going to Taiwan and Hong Kong, Hong Kong will always be mentioned when we never talk about Chinese youth cultures. But this time we'll talk more about it, like also in Taiwan area. Taiwan is totally different in political economic environment there compared to mainland China. And even right now, Hong Kong is also very, very interestingly, in the past, Hong Kong is quite different, but now Hong Kong is getting more identical to what's happening in mainland China. And so we'll all discuss about this. And so you can learn more about this different regional, get more information about different regions, but also learn about cultures, specifically through the youth culture perspective. And this course also carries the SCBI, which is a social cultural behavior inquiry learning domain credit as well as the experiential learning credit because we have a study abroad trip. So there's the experience is very important. So you can count my course, same as like a professional class, you find that because we carry this additional learning domain credit, so you can count, you can double count those courses toward learning these learning domains, and also counting toward Chinese studies or major or minor, as well as a minor in global Asian studies. And also this course will for sure prepare you for any interaction you may have with the local people, residents in Hong Kong and Taiwan. Okay.
Yeah.
So her class has got the SCBI credit, and then Professor Shanahan's class has the AL Arts and Literature credit. Or for either of those classes, you can substitute the experiential learning credit. So basically you can get 2 of those 3, depending on what you may or may not need for your degree progress.
Right. Okay, and my class, which will be after we return, is, as it says there, science fiction. The reading list that I have in mind is, almost all Chinese translated into English science fiction. So this would be like the 3 Body series, some short stories by some higher profile people. And I if during Q&A people want to know specifics, I'll get into it. But it's a chance to kind of read through the imagination of especially the future as seen from beyond Anglo-America. This is really important. So much science fiction has always been, the stories of heroic white guys in astronaut suits and things. And so to see the future modeled from Chinese science fiction, Taiwanese science fiction stuff is important. And it's a useful kind of reminder of the rising power of China and the fact that the US is only 4% of the human population. So, the stories we tell have significance beyond the numbers of Americans that there are. So anyway, and yeah, it carries A&L or EL credit, whichever you need. Okay, next slide, I guess.
Okay.
This is,
yeah, go ahead, John.
Oh, okay. This is the 2-week breakdown if you want to see day by day. We've both run study abroad several times. So we say these days, depending on weather or something, it might get switched, you know what I mean? We might flip flop a day or something. So just keep in mind, we will go to these places, but any particular day, it might be the 30th rather than the 29th or something. So anyway, but what you'll see here is 2 weeks starting the Sunday after Thanksgiving. That's 11/26. November 26th is the Sunday after Thanksgiving. We will leave, we lose a day in travel, and then we have a long week in Taipei and surroundings, and then a shorter week in Hong Kong. Okay. Hong Kong back to Chicago, all is the same day because we're just the way time zones go. That's the interesting thing, that you leave in the morning in Hong Kong and you'll be back in Chicago the same day morning. So it's pretty weird, but it can happen. And you see on the map where we're going, so we won't go into details there, but this is mostly urban environments, very flourishing cities you'll see in the next few slides, and but there will be some hiking and some opportunities to get out into the beautiful scenery in both of these places too.
I just want to add one more thing here, maybe as appeal to the trip, for the trip. So you can tell here from the map there, and Hong Kong and Taiwan are located in the south side of to the mainland China. You can see the weather climate there. It will be way more warmer than Chicago. I'm not gonna say it's tropical. I don't think it's tropical in December over there, but it's gonna be way warmer than here in Chicago. So it's a nice way to escape the coldness in Chicago.
Yeah, it'll be temperate. It could 60s,
yeah.
and you might need we'll recommend you bring a windbreaker for, like,
just in case. Yeah.
But it will be
you can buy clothes over in there in Taiwan, Hong Kong as well, if you want to.
Yeah.
Okay. On next slide, some photos.
Yeah, these are just a few places in Taipei, just to give you a flavor of some of the things we'll see. For instance, we will go to the top of Taipei 101, the 3rd highest building in the world, and there's a great kind of consumer and shopping district around it, though Taipei is full of those kinds of places. Over on the top right is the Palace Museum, famous for lots of Chinese treasures that were taken away by the nationalists when they left, when the communists took over in 1949. So there are some priceless treasures that, are only outside the Forbidden Palace of Tiananmen, are at the Palace Museum in Taipei, which we will see. The bottom on the right is one of many night markets throughout the city that we'll go visit. In the middle at the bottom and on the left, you'll see temples and classical Chinese gardens that we will visit. So there's a lot of different kinds of things to see.
Okay. Next slide, well, to be honest, in the Hotel Taipei, maybe Sugal, you know this better because you work with the travel agent directly. So we chose these two hotels because we think they're more affordable, but also very close, very convenient to this transportation system there, which is the metro they use over there, both in Taipei, in Taiwan in general, and Hong Kong. So here we just want to mention that every 2 students will share 1 room. So in autumn quarter during my class, we will discuss about all the logistics you need to pay attention to when you're on the trip. One thing is you decide we're probably going to pick your roommate. Scott, can you verify that we can decide this in autumn, right? We don't have to do it like summer or something.
And figure out how you'd like to do it. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we were talking about today earlier in another class visit, just this came to our mind. Yeah, every 2 students will share 1 room, but if we have an odd number of the group, then there's 1 student who is luckiest and who's gonna stay, use the have the entire room for themselves. It's possible. This is the Taipei, the pictures we grabbed from their website, and you will see some photos actually here from the Hong Kong hotel right here. The Hong Kong hotel, I think, is kind of better because Hong Kong is really, to be honest, they're famous for tourism. They know how to build their hotels, and their hotels usually looks nicer than the one we're gonna stay in Taiwan. Okay, in Taipei. So there's photos here about Hong Kong. Maybe John, and you chose those photos, so go ahead.
Yeah. I just picked some that are places that I know that we'll go, but these are only a few because there's a lot more places. But one will be the iconic harbor between Kowloon and Hong Kong that you'll see on the left, and we'll take a ferry across. The very iconic thing to go up to the top of Victoria Peak, where that shot on the left is from. But we're also going to be in like small and dense places. You'll see those buildings on the bottom there, kind of an urban density that Americans are just not at all used to. Even in big cities, we don't have the kind of density associated with the markets and the apartment complexes in parts of Hong Kong and throughout China. We will go see the Big Buddha on Lantau Island up there on the right. We will go to the 10,000 Buddhas monastery. That's the bottom left there. There's a long walkway up to this monastery and temple up a series of mountainsides. Beautiful hike and things, not too strenuous or anything. And then over on the far right bottom, it's a tiny picture, but a very famous picturesque temple, Manmo Temple on Hong Kong Island that has the iconic circular incense sticks hanging throughout, and pretty cool place. So these are just a few of the places we'll go throughout Hong Kong, and we will visit with faculty and students from local universities. There's in fact one of our former colleagues from DePaul now teaches at the City University of Hong Kong. We'll meet up with him and some of his students throughout both in Hong Kong and in Taipei. We'll have chances to sit with students at universities there to talk to them about the future. Many of them are studying English and very advanced in proficiency, and will be happy to talk with us and go to night markets and have meals and things. So it's a nice chance to actually see youth culture too, and not just read about it.
Yeah, as Professor Shanahan mentioned, we will meet with students, so you can have this close conversation with students coming from Hong Kong and Taiwan as well. And then so we will choose students who have a high English language proficiency, so you have no problem to have a conversation with them in English. Yeah, and so this trip actually want to emphasize one more thing, there's no language requirement. Even if you've never learned the Chinese language before, and you are welcome to join us. And we hope maybe after the trip, after you come back, you can be inspired to learn Mandarin Chinese, and so you can in the future take a trip by yourself. Okay.
It seems like, and Janaya, if you're ready to try some, that's great. I only have
Yeah.
a little bit of Chinese knowledge myself. And there it's so far from the applications that I've seen, there are a few people that may be on this trip with some good Chinese skill among the DePaul students. So, you know, this would be nice for kind of breaking up into smaller groups and things. It makes meals easier and things like that. But there's a lot of English signage everywhere we will go. So
Yeah, especially Hong Kong. My gosh, Hong Kong is still international city there. Okay. Additional information here. So you don't need a visa to go to Taiwan, Hong Kong. Also, you know, there's no need for a visa, but you need a passport. Remember this one. If you don't have passport, remember if you decide to join our trip, you need to start to applying for your passport. I don't know how long it can take you to get a passport right now. They have a mail-in service, right? So Scott knows this better.
Plenty of time because of the summer, because it takes 2 or 3 months, but as long as you get started on it and it started the summer, plenty of time.
Okay, all right. And next one is the COVID, and here you can see on the slide, you see the COVID is well managed in Taiwan and Hong Kong. So there's no, at least right now, we don't have any concern about the COVID outbreak over there. Even here in the US, we were not big concern now. Maybe we have a better concern about the other viruses. So mask, I want to mention about the cultural information here in Asia, in East Asia, especially in East Asian region now, people are, they are very conscious about in like a mask wearing, like a public health right now, especially after the pandemic. So you may see, when you go there, you may see a lot of people wearing masks. So if you want to bring a mask, you're welcome to wear it. And also, if you're coughing anything, remember always, wear your mask. Otherwise, you're going to attract some kind of attention from other people. Okay. For group meals and meals on your own, I want to mention actually on the following slide, you will find that your tuition, the program, not tuition, sorry, the program fee actually will cover 7 lunches and 7 dinners with us. So we either will all have as a group, we're gonna eat together for lunch or dinner, or we'll pass around cash. So you can spend money you can just spend money in the night market. You can walk around because there are also some free days for you to, go around, either with the group members or with some new friends you make on the trip, or you can explore by yourself. And then every morning, both hotels provide a free breakfast. So we are going to make sure everyone have breakfast before you head out for the day. So this we'll eat together a lot. Okay. And next one, we'll walk a lot too. And I mentioned, I remember. You can see the picture actually here. The second one, there's a hill there, right? There's a little mountain. What do we have a name of the here, John?
Yeah, both pictures here are Jiufen.
Jiufen.
Yeah, it's over on there. You'll see that if you students want to see spelled on the far right there, you'll see it says Jiufen. This is a small town about a hour and a half east of Taipei. We will visit it as a day trip. It's nice to get there. We'll get there in the afternoon, and as the sun goes down and all the lanterns and everything lights up, it's a very beautiful and picturesque and kind of touristy town. It's the inspiration for Spirited Away. Apparently, Miyazaki denies this, but everybody says this was his model. And so it's a nice place to walk around and interesting shopping and good food.
A lot of steps, or you can hike. When you are hiking, then that's a different story. But still, please bring some, more comfortable shoes. Yeah, probably this is a common sense, right? When you go study abroad and when you are especially on a short term trip, and then remember bring comfortable shoes with you, or you can buy shoes over there in Taiwan. So you can absolutely buy some shoes over there. Yeah, we pretty much covered all the things on this slide. How to apply? I think Scott, you know all the information.
Other than that couple slides. So,
okay.
So yeah, a lot of you have already started your application. I think some of you may have actually even completed it already. So that is great. The application deadline is coming up on May 1st, which is almost 2 weeks from now. So for the application process, it's a pretty straightforward process. You just go to the program webpage. There's a blue little apply now button like you'll see there. Click on that, and then there's just an application questionnaire that's got a handful of short questions that you answer about why you're interested in doing the program, what you're going to get from it. Just complete all of those questions and fill those out and hit the submit button. And once you've done that, you've submitted your application. After May 1st, We will be in touch. The two faculty will do some brief interviews of everybody to just get you to know you a little bit better. We haven't talked through the process yet, but oftentimes it's like small group interviews. So it may be 3 or 4 of you all at once that they kind of meet with for half an hour, ask a handful of questions. It's a chance for you to ask more questions of them to get to know you a little bit, get to know some of the other students who've applied. And then we will let you know if you've been accepted to the program or not in around sort of mid-May. At that point, if you have been accepted to the program, we give you a couple of weeks to decide what you'd like to do. So you can hopefully say, yes, I'd like to move forward and do the program, but we give you a couple of weeks to think about it and decide what you'd like to do, because I know part of that also has to do with finances, which leads kind of the next section here. So for scholarships, we do have scholarships available for this and all of our programs. As long as you submit your program application by May 1st, you'll automatically be considered for the main study abroad scholarships. So you don't have to do a separate application. There's nothing else to do. We determine those scholarships based on 2 things, based on your financial need and based on your academics. And so for financial need, we contact the financial aid office and they have got information about your financial need based on what you did on the FAFSA. And then for your academics, we look at your GPA. So a student who has a strong financial need as well as a strong GPA is going to be the most likely to get a larger scholarship. Our scholarships range typically from about $1,000 up to, in some cases, they could be, almost the full cost of the program. And it sort of depends on your situation. And then once we let you know if you've been accepted to the program or not, around the same time, usually a day or 2 later, we also let you know if you had a scholarship and if so, how much that's for. So once you have that information, hopefully that gives you everything you need to know about whether you'd like to move forward or not, and then you let us know. We also do have a lot of different outside additional scholarships on our website. So you can look, there are external scholarships you could apply for if you qualify for any. There are different scholarships within DePaul that have got their own application process for specific majors or specific colleges that have some different scholarship opportunities. So I encourage you to look at the Study Abroad website and look at all those other scholarships that you could apply for. But again, the standard Study Abroad scholarships, you don't have to do an application for, you just have to apply to the program. And I will say this, sometimes we do extend the application deadline if we still have some spots available to apply to the program, but we don't extend the scholarship deadline. So even if we give a couple extra weeks for students to complete an application, you need to get your application in by May 1st if you want to be considered for those scholarships.
That's very important. We need to emphasize that in the future, in the next few class visits. Okay.
Yeah, just apply by May 1st, then you're good. Okay, in terms of the cost of the program, so there's a program fee and tuition that we pay for. The program fee for this program is $3,950. It includes a lot. It includes your round trip airfare from Chicago to Taipei, Taipei to Hong Kong, Hong Kong back to Chicago. There's a group flight that everybody will be on together. And so all of that is included. It includes all of your accommodations. It includes about 2/3 of your meals, all of your breakfasts, and a little over half of your lunches and dinners. And again, like Professor Jin said, some of those are going to be group meals that you're all together having a big meal. Other times they're going to distribute a little money that you'll be able to use to buy some meals, but about 2/3 of your meals are included. All the course activities, all the excursions, all the transportation, all of that is included. And then we also do include international travel, health, and accident insurance. So it really includes most of what you need. Outside of that, there's a list of things it doesn't include, but really it's just food and snacks outside of those meals. And then any other sort of personal spending money that you need for other things you might do on your free time in the evenings or such. But for the most part, it's pretty all-inclusive. The other piece that you need to know is that you do have to pay tuition for the 8 credit hours that go along with the program. But if you're an undergrad student and it's just part of your normal 18 credit hours you take each quarter, there's no additional cost for that. So you're going to be registered in 1 class in the fall and 1 class in the spring. As long as you don't go over 18 credit hours in the fall and 18 credit hours in the spring, then it's just part of your normal tuition. It's a class like any other class. If you do go over 18 credits, you have to pay extra for those credits, just like you would any quarter that you were in an extra class.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that's it. Is there? Yep. So, yeah, if you have questions, the 2 of them are there to sort of answer any questions about the academics, the time abroad. I can answer questions about the application process or sort of general logistical questions, just in general. So you've got our emails there. But yeah, what questions do people have now about the program that we could answer for you?
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing. Okay, give me one.
I hold a Philippine passport, so how different or like how long or how different does that process look like?
Yeah, we will, once people are accepted into the program, we will kind of look at all of that. We have to look, anybody who is not a US citizen, we will look at what the entrance requirements are for those countries and see if you need a visa or not. It may be that you don't need a visa, and if so, that it'll be the same process as everyone else, nothing to worry about. But if you do need a visa, then we would be in touch with you. You would have to work through the consulate or embassy to go through the process of getting a tourist visa. It wouldn't be a student visa. You're not going there to study for a semester or anything like that. So you just need to get a regular tourist visa if you're required to have one. And we'll be in touch about that to let you know if you do need one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So my question is, what if I want to stay longer at Hong Kong or like go back to mainland?
Yeah, great question. We have a group flight and we negotiate that with the airlines that everybody is on the group. And part of that though does include that typically we can have a small handful of people if they want to be able to stay longer. That's something that we coordinate with the airlines and through our travel agent. So after you've been accepted to the program and let us know that you want to do it, I'm going to have a big email with a lot of details. And one of those details is going to be the contact information for our travel agent that says, if you would like to extend your stay and stay longer, please contact our travel agent. Here's her contact information. And what you would do is get in touch with her. It's on a first come, first served basis for students who might want to do that to see how many we're able to accommodate. And then you would pay any price difference just directly to our travel agent. So say you're in touch, you say, oh, I want to stay an extra week. Here's what I'd like to do. She's going to look at the flights and give you some quotes and sort of how much it would be. And it might be, I'm just going to throw out, you know, it's always different, but maybe there's like a $150 change fee. And then that flight you're looking at is $100 more. So it might be $250 extra dollars to do that. And if you wanted to do that, you would tell her great, and you would just pay her that extra $250 and she would adjust your ticket for you. So it definitely is possible, and you'll work with our travel agent to see if it's something you'd like to do.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Other questions? About the time abroad, about the class, logistical things, yes.
I was looking at the application and I think the second part of it was about like COVID and your vaccine information. I was wondering, do I have to resubmit my vaccination information? Because I know I submitted it in for like when I came into DePaul. Do I have to resubmit it?
No, there should be nothing in the application that's asking you about that. Did you see something in the actual application that asked about that? That's not one of the questions.
Well, it's not one of the questions. I know it kind of just talked about it. I just
Gotcha.
wanted to know if I
Nope.
need to resubmit it.
No. If you've submitted your information to DePaul, that's we look through the DePaul system for that. So if there's something that you haven't submitted, we may reach out to you. But as long as you've submitted everything through DePaul, that's all you need to do.
I'm gonna Google if they need any vaccine requirements for traveling to Taiwan. And also things are changing, you know, right now with the situation, maybe in December it will be totally different. So we don't know that, but at least right now there's no requirement.
Yeah, and we'll be in touch. You know, we're closely monitoring. Things are a lot different now than they were a year ago, even 6 months ago, in terms of things loosening in a lot of different countries. But we are sort of monitoring that. And if there are any specific COVID requirements, and we will let people know about that.
So it's a good idea, no matter what, to keep your vaccination card or whatever you have, those kinds of records handy. And this is something we'll cover in the fall. But physically, it's like make sure you have a photo of it on your phone and something to show people, that kind of stuff. So.
Dee said, okay, please check the vaccines and medicines list. Visit your doctor at least 1 month before your trip to get vaccines and medicines you may need. When COVID-19, all eligible travelers should be up to date with their COVID-19 vaccines.
This is all information
right now. Yeah, we will send all the reminders. Make sure you're ready for the trip in autumn.
What else? Any other questions we can answer?
As far as I know, I think if you have a Chinese passport, you do have to get a visa to go to Taiwan. But I don't know about the Philippines. If you're Philippine, have a Philippine passport, we just need to double check.
Yeah, and that's something you could look at yourself. But again, we will do, once everybody has applied and been accepted and we see who's going to move forward, we do a check in terms of everyone's status to see where we're at.
One more question is that I have my Chinese passport, but right now I'm American citizen. So do I return my passport back to them, or do I keep it for now until I go back to mainland China?
Oh, you actually, if you already have I'm in the same situation with you.
Yeah.
I was a Chinese citizen, but I naturalized into American citizenship, and which means I automatically give up my Chinese citizenship because
Yes.
Chinese government doesn't recognize dual citizenship. So you can't take your Chinese passport when you go to China. You probably have to go to China. You have to probably apply for another visa to enter China with your American citizen, like a passport.
Okay.
Otherwise, once you get caught, you can do that, with your Chinese passport. But then, if you get caught, then they will kind of confiscate your Chinese passport anyway. So you will have to reapply for American visa, like a visa to enter China. So it will be like too much trouble. So I suggest you, if you plan to return to mainland China in December after the trip with us, then prepare to get a visa to go to China.
Okay, so if I only go to like the trip, not to backland,
Then you don't have.
Okay,
And you
Yeah.
would travel on your American passport.
Yeah,
Okay.
travel. Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, be careful. Yeah, this, so I heard people are doing this, but they eventually may find out, and they will, at least right now, legally they don't recognize, if you apply for if you naturalize to any other citizenship, then they automatically, you are giving up your Chinese citizenship.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Typically, how big are the groups that travel?
Yeah, each one is different, but we would say typically maybe an average one, 15 to 20 students would be a normal size. We're going to see what happens after the application deadline and go from there. But they're not huge groups. It's a good sized group typically, but small enough still that you'll get to know everybody.
The 2018 China program that we did was, I think, 14, and maybe it's 15. I don't remember the exact number now, but
I think so. I forgot. At least 13. At least 13.
I think it was
Yeah.
like 15-ish. But anyway,
I forgot.
this is to say, it's enough people that sometimes, it's we need to kind of stick together in big crowds, like if we're walking in dense parts of the city. At other times, it's big enough that we will split off into smaller groups, so that people can kind of walk in different directions in some area and then return after a while.
In Hong Kong, it is very, very like a foreigner, like a tourist friendly. They're everywhere. There's English signs. You will read. In Taiwan, John, when you were there, did you notice their signs are also bilingual with English and Chinese?
In Taipei, all over the place.
Taipei, yeah, mainly Taipei.
Yeah, there's English signage a lot. So
Okay.
Again, there's no presumption that you know any Chinese for this trip. It'd be great if you do, and if you want to learn after it, but everyone will be okay without Chinese knowledge for this.
Yeah, and also since I noticed that on our trip, we may have several students who already have plenty of Chinese language proficiency, like Yuting, if you want to join us for sure, and then you will be kind of a helper to Professor Shanahan and I, so you can be another pair of eyes for us. I know there's another couple of students who are like, Janaya, you already learned Chinese for 4 or 5 years. You may have conversational skills with people there. You can ask questions and understand people. I know at least another student in our program. And Maddie, she is in her 3rd year Chinese, and she really want to go to China. And this finally, she's getting the opportunity to go to China. She's taken upper level language classes, so she can help as well. And you never know. Once we finalize the list, we'll know which students have language proficiency. So in ultimate quarter, when we are all in the class, we can discuss about this. When in the future, if we have to break into smaller groups to navigate, to tour around, if we want more like how do I say this, like the support and stick with someone who knows Chinese, either with the Professor Shanahan, me, or one of our students who already have some Chinese proficiency.
Yeah, And that's only for, I'll say, because we've done this before, and again, I've had a few years of Chinese, but I'm not that good. And so where it helps is like ordering food and stuff. So if you're on your own, it's like sometimes,
You have to guess.
some menus might not have much English on them already. So it depends, it limits where you can go for like eating. That's mainly where it will matter.
But at this night markets, you can just point things, right? You don't have to, because the food are there on display, so you don't have to order from menu.
All right. Any
Uh,
last question? Oh yeah, go ahead.
Will our class size be the same with like the amount of people that we travel with?
Only the students who are traveling with us will be in the classes. So that's why you have to take the 2 classes with me and Professor Shanahan. You can't take any other courses to be in this program.
Right, it's a cohort. It's like,
Yeah.
and I should say, because this is important, the people that go on these programs, these will be friends and experiences you'll remember a long time. I'm still in touch with some of the students from China 2018 and stuff, that because as you can tell, this is before COVID, so we haven't done this in a while. But there's a trial by fire and a bonding that takes place in these kinds of programs. So class together, travel together, class together, and it's always worked really well. People support each other.
Right.
And
Any final questions or thoughts?
This will be a life-changing experience. You will make a lifelong friends. We hope on the trip. And we have a new student coming in, right? Gabriel, I think Gabriel also have started the application process.
Oh, yeah. Hi.
Yes. And Gabriel, if you'd like to stick around at the end, we can answer any questions you have because we're just kind of wrapping up here. So any last questions before we go? All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming. Like I said, Gabriel, if you want to stick around and ask any additional questions, but otherwise, thank you everybody else for coming. If you haven't finished your application yet, please do, and we'll go from there. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Hope to see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Yeah.